welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much, as always, for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it. Let's address the elephant in the room, and that is how red I am. Really nice weather today, and I had breakfast outside with my family. I was facing the sun. My face is crisped. It's crisped up. I actually think I even have a necklace tan. I do. And this sweater is making it worse. I feel like the red brings out the red. I don't feel burnt. I feel a bit kissed. I don't take this off because I love this sweater so much and it doesn't fit in my suitcase, so I refuse to take it off until tomorrow when I have to leave on my flight because I want to get as much use of it as I can, in case you were wondering. Anyway, today it's my favorite chat of the month, and that is what I read this month. What month was it? My March wrap up. So these are all the books I read in the month of March. I hope this is going to be a short video because it is 10 p.m. I have to leave for the airport in 7 hours. So for the sake of my REM cycle, and also the fact that I have only been posting videos over 20 minutes long, which I know is a lot of time to, ask for someone to share with me, I'm going to keep this one short and sweet because I only read 5 books. So I should be able to get through them nice and quickly. Anyway, I've spoken enough. Let's get into it. Okay, the first one I'm going to talk about. I quickly want to apologize to Carly. She's here on YouTube as UnCarly. She loves this book. I believe it's like top favorite books of all time, but definitely top books of recent months. You know what? I kind of have become a speedy reader, okay? Especially in 2020. I've been getting through books quickly, okay? This one, even if you look at the font, you would think I'd get through this bad boy in no time. I believe there's even pictures in here. It took me 17 days to get through this book, so I think that's a telltale sign of the fact that I did not enjoy it. Okay? I'm kind of very bummed about it, so much so that it's kind of difficult to talk about because I really thought I was going to love this book. It sounded like something that would be right up my alley, but it was not whatsoever. I just thought, again, it's one of those books I feel like some people would love and some people just cannot click with it enough because it almost feels like it lacks some seasoning. But I understand how someone could analyze this in a way that you're like, no, you know what? It's kind of profound in its emptiness. Does that make any sense? It's like My Year of Rest and Relaxation. A lot of people would read that and be like, what? That's it? But then if you analyze it from a psychological lens, it's quite an interesting read. Same with this, if you want to analyze it from perhaps it's told in 2 different perspectives. I believe I don't even remember their names. Benson and Mike, they each give their side, like their experience, which I kind of enjoyed. The ending I liked, but I think that was like the only really thing that I really enjoyed was the ending. It was very hard for me to get through. So give it a go maybe, and then we can discuss it and you can help me understand it maybe. I also have just come to realize that I don't like, como se dice, toxic relationships. It just, I don't really like to read about them because I personally run from them. So I don't want to dedicate hours of my time reading about toxic relationships. I just don't want to. I don't want to, and I think that's why I didn't really resonate with this book. Anyway, that's Memorial by Brian Washington. Then for my book club pick, I read The Memory Police, and I really, also I've been meaning to do, like making sure I show you guys if I do hardbacks without the sleeve, because I know that I care about that when I'm gonna buy a book, if it's worth buying a hardback because of the full package. If not, I'll buy a paperback because I prefer the feeling of a paperback. Anyway, that's just a quick fun fact. Actually, let me grab the other one so I can show you. Memorial is stunning without the sleeve. Look at that. Whoa. Don't you love that? I think that's beautiful. Anyway, back to The Memory Police. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was such an interesting idea, and I thought it was executed rather well. However, I can kind of understand why some people didn't like this as much as they expected to, because it is relatively vague, but I think that kind of works with how realistic this story felt to me. the fact that it was so vague made sense for what was happening. You kind of never really understand why things are happening in this book the way that they are, but I think that makes sense, because I think if the government was able to erase your memories, I don't think anyone would ever have any answers. So I really liked, almost like you have to fill in the blanks and let yourself imagine what happens afterwards. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I know some people do. So if you're okay with kind of being left to wonder and to, you know, come up with your own ending, then I think you really enjoy this. There are definitely a lot of moments that I found very chilling because of the certain things that disappear. Ugh, the ending. Frankly, read this for the ending, because I really loved the ending. It gave me very many chills. Veronica and I both really enjoyed it. I don't know what my friend rated it. And frankly, I still don't know what I rated. Maybe like a 3.5. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and it was such a wonderful difference from Memorial by Mr. Washington. So yeah, November please. Then I read Group by Christy Tate, which is a book that has been on my shelf for quite a while, and I've been meaning to read it. And I finally got around to it, and I'm so thankful that I did. I really love this book. Again, with most self-help books, there's no such thing as a perfect self-help book, because it is just one person's perspective, and, you know, their journey won't parallel yours, or what they say may not be helpful, or in fact could even be harmful to your own journey, especially when it comes to whether it's mental health, accepting your body, and any sort of eating disorders. Every person has a very different experience and a very different journey, so sometimes I understand that people read these kind of books and they do not get what I potentially got from this. My criticism of this, however, would be the fact that this book ends up being, kind of paints this picture, but not really, but I guess in a way that love fixes all. Specifically like romantic love, which I say this in a lot of videos, but I really don't think that's true. I think there's so much more to life than romantic love. Of course, romantic love is a beautiful, wonderful thing, but there's more to that, you know? It's a frequent thing that books and stories claim that love fixes everything. Just like in Mamma Mia 2, here we go again. All her marital problems, why am I blanking on her name? But Amanda Seyfried, all her problems with her husband, Sky, are solved because she has a kid, because it's love. You know what I mean? Like, I watched Mamma Mia yesterday, so I'm thinking of that. Regardless of that though, I really loved it. I loved the exploration of therapy, and group therapy in particular. I had never read on group therapy and how helpful that option could be for someone. And the discussion on her relationship with food was really eye-opening and also comforting, because I know a lot of people struggle with body confidence and their relationship with food, so it is very nice to read someone's journey and feel comfort through that. Again, it's not like I can relate to it in every circumstance, and there were moments where I was like, oh, I don't know if I personally agree with that, but as a whole, I found it to be a really honest and beautifully written memoir, if you want to call it. Yeah, I guess it is a memoir. There's definitely a lot of trigger warnings, so please look into that. But the discussion around trauma and self-love and letting yourself heal through therapy was really wonderful. So as long as you can look past the potential things that may not align with you, I think it's a wonderful book. So yeah. Then I read We Are Never Meeting in Real Life by Samantha Irby. This book is so incredibly fun. I devoured it. This is everything I wanted in a essay book. I absolutely loved it. My least favorite book last year was, I can't remember now, but it was a book of short essays, and I completely despised it, so I was really hesitant to read another book of essays, because the other book had put such a naughty taste in my mouth, but this completely cleansed the palate. And I'm so excited to read another one of her books. She is hilarious. She is so authentic. She is so vulnerable at the same time. What a wonderful book. I should say this is definitely not for everyone. Even she says it, that some people will probably find this book crass and a little too much information. I didn't have that problem. I thought it was phenomenal, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I just loved the blatant honesty. It was so refreshing. I really loved it. Oh, and I guess if you want to know, it's just essays about all different things of her life. But I guess essentially her journey with love and what she wants for herself and what she doesn't want for herself, which was really wonderful to read. I truly have only good things to say about this book. I loved it. Then the final book that I read was a book I've been meaning to get to for quite a little while, and I finally did, and that is Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. This was a really lovely little read. It's just one of those books that it feels like you're reading, and I feel like I use this example, but it's just very accurate. It just feels like you're reading someone's journal. It's not necessarily a conversational book. There's not a lot of dialogue between characters. It more so reads like each chapter is from a different family member and they kind of share a part of their life and how it all ties together. The whole book starts because the mom, I guess, has her kid when she's 15, and this book starts when that kid turns 15, so the same age that her mom was when she found out she was pregnant with her, and it kind of just chronicles all the family members' experience with that and how their lives changed because of it. Anyway, I hope that's enough information. It's just really I guess a part's heartbreaking, but mainly just really moving in the sense of how this family is so deeply intertwined, even in aspects that you wouldn't think they are, because family relationships go back generations, right? It's almost like this discussion of legacy and your family tree and how the events that your great-grandparents face still trickle down into you, right? Just because it's so much farther down the line doesn't mean it won't have an impact on who you are now, because it affected your grandparents, and therefore your grandparents affected your parents, and then your parents affect you. So it kind of is how you're connected with your bloodline, even if it seems very distant, which I really enjoyed. It's beautifully written. There are so many quotes in here that I read over and over again because I was so profoundly moved. Oh, I just said profoundly moved. In the top corner it says profoundly moving. So I guess that's an accurate description of it, because that's exactly how I felt. My brain is very scattered, and I'm so sorry about that. I'm going through a lot, not in a bad way. I'm just moving and getting my life in order is a lot, and I really wanted to get this final video recorded for you with my little shelves in the back, because after this my bedroom is essentially empty, so my background is going to be really boring for a little while until I get myself settled. So I thought I would record this to have a final hurrah, if you will. Anyway, as always, thank you so incredibly much for continuing to come here and share your time with me and watching and leaving me such wonderfully supportive comments and just being so incredibly kind to me. I appreciate it so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.